Part 1. The Unexpected Stop. Expanded. The summer heat had been merciless that day. June Park's old delivery truck groaned like an exhausted beast, its white paint faded and peeling from years of cross-country journeys. He'd been driving for nearly 14 hours straight, transporting industrial equipment from a manufacturing plant in Colorado to a small engineering firm in New Mexico. The dashboard temperature gauge was screaming danger. Steam hissed from beneath the hood, and the engine made a sound that was somewhere between a whimper and a desperate plea. June knew this road well, a lonely stretch of highway that cut through endless desert landscape where cell phone signals died and hope became as scarce as shade. When the truck finally surrendered, rolling to a stop near a weathered gas station that looked like it had survived countless forgotten stories, June wasn't surprised. He'd been pushing this vehicle beyond its limits, trying to meet a tight delivery deadline and earn that extra bonus which might help him finally replace this unreliable machine. The station stood alone, a single beacon of civilization in miles, of sandy nothingness. Faded red paint peeled from its walls, and a flickering neon sign buzzed weakly, promising cold drinks and basic supplies. No other vehicles were in sight, just silent desert, shimmering heat waves, and this lone structure. That seemed more like a mirage than a real place. June's throat was dry. His water bottle had been empty for hours, and the air conditioning had stopped working days ago. Sweat traced uncomfortable lines down his back, his blue work shirt now a darker shade from constant perspiration. He grabbed his wallet, checked. His remaining cash, just enough for water and maybe a quick repair if the station's owner knew anything about trucks. As he stepped out, the heat hit him like a physical wall. His work boots crunched on gravel, each step kicking up tiny dust clouds. The silence was overwhelming. No birds, no distant traffic, just absolute stillness interrupted only by his own breathing and the occasional ping of cooling metal from his disabled truck. The station's door had a small bell that jingled when pushed, an old-fashioned sound that felt almost comically out of place in this desolate environment. June didn't know it yet, but this simple moment of seeking water would become the most significant turning point in his ordinary life. Little did he realize that behind the counter, something extraordinary was waiting, an encounter that would challenge everything he understood about reality, human potential, and the vast mysteries of existence. His parched lips moved, preparing to ask for water. His hand reached toward the refrigerated section. And then, everything changed. Would you like me to continue with the next part using the same engaging, human-centric approach? Part 2. First Contact. Expanded. June blinked, trying to clear the heat-induced haze from his vision. The cashier, standing behind the counter, wasn't what he expected. Hannah looked simultaneously ordinary and extraordinary, a young woman who seemed slightly out of place, like a painting that wasn't quite aligned with its frame. Her movements caught his attention first. While most convenience store workers shuffled or moved mechanically, Hannah glided. Each gesture was deliberate, smooth as water flowing around stones. When she reached for a water bottle, her hand moved with a precision that seemed more choreographed than natural. Her fingers, long and elegant, wrapped around the bottle with a grace that felt almost rehearsed. Her eyes were different too. Not just in color, which was an unusual silver gray that seemed to shift slightly when caught in the fluorescent lighting, but in how they observed him. Most cashiers gave customers a perfunctory glance. Hannah's gaze felt like a complete scan, as if she was reading more than just his physical appearance. "Hot day," she said. The words were simple, but her accent was impossible to place. Not quite Korean, not quite American, something entirely unique. June nodded, suddenly feeling self-conscious. Sweat dripped from his forehead, and his work shirt was now a darker blue from moisture. "My truck broke down outside. Just need some water and maybe some advice about mechanics." Hannah's lips curved into a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. "Interesting timing," she murmured, almost to herself. The way she said it made June feel like there was a hidden meaning behind those words. As she rang up the water, her movements became a bizarre dance of efficiency. Each button on the cash register was pressed with mathematical accuracy. The cash drawer opened, with a precision that felt more robotic than human. June found himself watching, fascinated. "Delivery driver?" Hannah asked, her question feeling more like a statement. "How did you know?" June responded, surprised. She tapped the side of her name badge, a simple metallic tag that seemed to shimmer slightly in the light. "So your clothes, the dust, the way you walk, tells a story." The conversation felt strange, not uncomfortable, but definitely not normal. June had met thousands of people in his years of driving across states, but something about Hannah was different. She seemed to know more than she was saying, her silver-grey eyes holding secrets that danced just beyond understanding. When she handed him the water, their fingers accidentally touched. For a millisecond, June felt something. A spark. A connection. That felt electric and alien. He pulled back quickly, wondering if the heat was playing tricks on his mind. "Your truck," Hannah said suddenly. "It's more than just a breakdown." June froze. How could she possibly know that? He had been feeling that something was off with his delivery, a strange sensation that had been building for days. Important documents, specialized equipment that seemed just a bit too complex, routes that felt unnecessarily complicated. "What do you mean?" he asked, suddenly alert. Hannah simply smiled, that same smile that promised everything and revealed nothing. Outside, the desert continued its timeless dance. Heat waves shimmered. His broken-down truck waited, and something extraordinary was about to unfold. "Would you like me to continue with the next part using the same engaging approach?" Part 3. The Cryptic Conversation. Expanded. The small convenience store suddenly felt smaller. June leaned against the cold refrigerator, water bottle in hand, watching Hannah with growing curiosity. Her previous comment about his truck hung in the air like a mysterious cloud. "So you're delivering to Henderson Engineering?" Hannah asked casually, wiping down the counter with a cloth that seemed unnaturally clean. June's spine tingled. He hadn't mentioned the destination to her. Not once. "How do you know that?" he asked, trying to keep his voice neutral. Hannah shrugged, a movement so casual it seemed designed to deflect suspicion. Small town. News travels fast. But her eyes told a different story. They held a knowing glint that suggested something far more complex. She began asking questions that seemed random, but felt carefully calculated. About his typical routes, the companies he frequently delivered for, the kind of equipment he transported. Each question was wrapped in casual conversation, like a skilled interviewer, hiding sharp questions beneath friendly small talk. "Must be interesting driving across different states," she continued, "seeing all those industrial sites, transportation networks. You must notice a lot of things most people don't." June realized he was talking more than listening. He was sharing details about his work, his routes, his observations, things he'd never discuss with a random stranger. Something about Hannah made conversation flow effortlessly, like water finding its natural path. She knew details about transportation logistics that surprised him, comments about route efficiency, fuel consumption patterns, even subtle changes in interstate commerce that most truck drivers wouldn't notice. Her knowledge seemed both precise and somehow ahead of its time. "The equipment you're carrying," Hannah mentioned casually, "it's not just standard industrial machinery, is it?" June felt a chill despite the overwhelming heat. The cargo he was transporting was supposed to be confidential. Specialized components for an advanced engineering project that his company had been extremely secretive about. "How could you possibly know that?" he asked, now fully alert. Hannah's smile was enigmatic. "Let's just say I'm good at reading people and situations." Her phone buzzed. For a split second, the screen displayed something that looked nothing like a standard smartphone interface, a complex grid of shifting colors and symbols that disappeared before June could fully comprehend it. The conversation continued, a delicate dance of information exchange. Hannah asked. June answered. But with each response, he felt like he was being carefully mapped, his entire professional history being subtly examined. A truck driver's intuition is a powerful thing, and June's was screaming that this was no ordinary encounter. Something significant was happening, something that extended far beyond a chance meeting in a desert gas station. The air conditioning hummed. Outside, his broken-down truck waited, and Hannah continued her subtle investigation, each word carefully chosen, each question holding multiple layers of meaning. The cryptic conversation was just beginning. "Would you like me to continue part 4, the Q?" Revelation expanded. The moment happened so quickly June almost missed it. When Hannah handed him a complimentary packet of road snacks, her fingers brushed against his palm. What seemed like a mundane gesture transformed into something extraordinary. Instantly, June's mind erupted with visual sequences, not memories, but something else entirely. Intricate transportation system blueprints flickered through his consciousness. Complex networks of transportation routes that looked nothing like current highway systems. Sleek vehicle designs that defied conventional engineering principles. Sustainable infrastructure models that seemed centuries ahead of current technology. These weren't just images, they were complete conceptual frameworks, transportation solutions that could revolutionize how humans moved across landscapes, cities, potentially even continents. For a split second, June's brain processed information faster than he'd ever experienced. Neural pathways seemed to expand, absorbing technological insights that felt both alien and incredibly logical. Sustainable. Energy integration, quantum routing algorithms, mobility solutions that addressed climate challenges, all compressed into milliseconds of understanding. His body responded physically. A slight tremor ran through his hands. Sweat beaded on his forehead. His breathing became momentarily synchronized, like someone downloading massive amounts of information. Hannah watched, her silver-gray eyes calculating, measuring his reaction. "What just happened?" June whispered. Struggling to comprehend, she remained calm. "Consider it a preview," she responded cryptically. The convenience store suddenly felt different. The fluorescent light seemed to pulse with a subtle rhythm. The air felt charged, like moments before an electrical storm. Everything appeared slightly out of focus, yet hyper-real simultaneously. June's mind raced. The delivery he was making, the mysterious equipment, this unexpected encounter. Everything was connecting like puzzle pieces. The specialized components he'd been transporting weren't just industrial equipment. They were potentially part of something much larger. "Who are you?" he asked, his voice a mixture of confusion and emerging excitement. Hannah's smile carried multiple layers of meaning. "Someone who believes humanity is capable of more than it currently understands." Outside, his broken-down truck remained motionless. But something had fundamentally shifted. June was no longer just a delivery driver. He had become an unexpected receptor of technological knowledge that could potentially transform human infrastructure. The revelation wasn't just about technological insights. It was about potential, human potential to evolve, to reimagine systems, to break through current limitations. Hannah continued watching him, waiting for what June couldn't yet understand. One brief touch had transformed an ordinary desert highway pit stop into a moment of extraordinary possibility. "Would you like me to continue with the final part, using the same engaging approach?" Part 5. Transformative Moment. Expanded. The silence between June and Hannah felt electric. Minutes passed, but they seemed like hours. Everything he thought he understood about his ordinary life was now transforming. His phone buzzed. A message from his company dispatcher. "Unusual data discrepancy detected with current shipment. Stand by for further instructions." Hannah nodded, as if she'd anticipated this exact moment. "Your delivery," she said quietly, "is more than just equipment. It's a potential gateway." June's mind raced. The specialized components he'd been transporting weren't random industrial parts. They were strategic technological pieces. Something that could potentially revolutionize transportation infrastructure. The technological insights he'd briefly experienced weren't just random information. They were carefully curated knowledge designed to spark human innovation. Hannah hadn't just shared information. She'd planted seeds of potential transformation. His background as a delivery driver suddenly felt like perfect camouflage. Who would suspect a routine truck driver of being a potential technological bridge? He was unremarkable, overlooked, the perfect conduit for extraordinary information. "Why me?" June asked, breaking the silence. Hana's response was calculated. "Some humans are natural connectors. You observe without interfering. You move through systems without disrupting them. Perfect for initial information transfer." Outside, his broken truck seemed symbolic. Something old and familiar was breaking down, making space for something entirely new. The convenience store, once just a forgotten desert pit stop, now felt like a secret meeting point between human potential and advanced technological understanding. Every mundane object, the flickering fluorescent light, the worn linoleum floor, the old refrigerator, now held multiple layers of meaning. June realized he was being recruited, not through force, but through carefully orchestrated circumstances. A delivery driver becoming an unexpected technological ambassador. His next actions would be crucial: share the information, investigate further. The technological insights he'd received could potentially reshape transportation, energy systems, potentially even societal infrastructure. Hana handed him a simple business card. No contact details, just a strange geometric symbol that seemed to shimmer slightly when viewed from different angles. "Your journey begins now," she said simply. The desert continued its timeless dance outside. His broken truck waited. But everything had changed. A simple water purchase had transformed an ordinary man into an extraordinary bridge between human limitation and unprecedented potential. June took a deep breath. His ordinary life was about to become extraordinarily complex. The transformation had begun. "Would you like me to refine or adjust any aspects of this narrative?" Yui, with the next part, using the same engaging approach.